The relationship between what we consume and our risk of developing cancer represents one of the most critical aspects of preventive medicine today. Our daily dietary choices may significantly influence cancer development, with research suggesting that approximately 50% of cancer cases have direct connections to nutritional factors. In our modern world, where processed foods dominate supermarket shelves and traditional dietary patterns have undergone radical transformation, understanding how to navigate food choices becomes increasingly vital. Dr. Alexandra Bennett, a specialist in nutritional oncology with over 15 years of clinical experience, emphasizes that while genetics certainly play a role in cancer susceptibility, our dietary habits remain one of the few cancer risk factors firmly within our control. The foods we choose to eat or avoid can create either a protective environment or one that promotes cellular damage and potential malignancy. She explained, this comprehensive guide explores evidence-based nutritional strategies for cancer prevention, examining both foods that may increase risk and those that offer protective benefits. By implementing these dietary modifications, you can potentially reduce your cancer risk while simultaneously improving overall health and well-being. Cancer-promoting foods, what to limit in your diet. At the forefront of foods associated with increased cancer risk are red meats, particularly when consumed in large quantities. Beef, pork, lamb, and other red meats have been linked to higher incidences of colorectal cancer in multiple population studies. The World Cancer Research Fund and the American Institute for Cancer Research recommend limiting red meat consumption to no more than 3 portions at 218 ounces per week. The concern primarily stems from compounds formed during digestion and certain proteins found in these meats that may damage the colon's lining over time. Dr. Bennett clarifies, I'm not suggesting complete elimination of red meat, as it does provide important nutrients like iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. Rather, think of it as an occasional component of your diet rather than a daily staple. This moderation approach allows you to enjoy these foods while minimizing potential cancer-promoting effects. The mechanism behind this connection involves several factors, including heme iron content, which can produce potentially damaging compounds in the digestive tract, and the formation of heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons when red meat is cooked at high temperatures. The hidden dangers: processed, preserved, and contaminated foods beyond red meat. Several other food categories deserve caution when building a cancer-preventive diet. Moldy foods represent a significant concern due to aflatoxins, potent carcinogens produced by certain fungi that commonly contaminate improperly stored grains, nuts, and legumes. Studies have established a strong link between aflatoxin exposure and liver cancer development, particularly in regions where food storage practices may be suboptimal. Many people attempt to salvage moldy foods by cutting away the visibly affected portions or washing the item, notes Dr. Bennett. Unfortunately, fungal contamination typically extends far beyond what's visible to the naked eye, with mycotoxins potentially permeating the entire food. When mold appears, discarding the item is truly the safest approach. Heavily salted and preserved foods constitute another category warranting limitation. Traditional preservation methods involving high salt concentrations or nitrate additives can lead to the formation of nitrosamines, compounds recognized for their carcinogenic potential. Frequent consumption of salt-preserved fish, meats, and fermented vegetables has been epidemiologically linked to increased risk of nasopharyngeal and gastrointestinal cancers in multiple population studies across Asia. The impact of cooking methods on cancer risk. How we prepare our food plays a surprisingly significant role in its cancer-promoting or cancer-preventing potential. High-temperature cooking methods, particularly grilling, broiling, and frying, can generate heterocyclic amines HCAs and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons PAHs, compounds that have demonstrated carcinogenic effects in laboratory studies. These substances form when proteins in meat react to intense heat, especially when cooking directly over open flames or when fat drips onto heating elements and creates smoke. The charred, blackened portions of grilled foods that many people find flavorful actually contain the highest concentrations of these potentially harmful compounds, explains Dr. Bennett. Regularly consuming heavily charred foods creates consistent exposure to these substances, potentially increasing cancer risk over time. This doesn't mean abandoning beloved cooking methods entirely. Instead, consider implementing risk reduction strategies. Marinating meats before cooking, which can reduce HCA formation by up to 9%, using lower temperature settings, avoiding direct flame contact, and trimming away charred portions before consumption. Alternative cooking methods like steaming, poaching, and slow cooking at lower temperatures produce minimal amounts of these compounds. Protective foods, building your anti-cancer plate. While certain foods may contribute to cancer risk, nature provides an abundant array of foods with potential protective effects. At the core of any cancer-preventive diet are Plant foods rich in antioxidants, compounds that neutralize free radicals and reduce oxidative stress, a primary mechanism in cancer development. Research consistently demonstrates that populations consuming plant-centered diets experience lower rates of many cancer types. The most compelling evidence points toward dietary patterns, rather than single miracle foods. Dr. Bennett emphasizes, no single fruit or vegetable can provide comprehensive protection, which is why dietary diversity becomes so crucial. Particularly noteworthy are foods containing flavonoids, a class of polyphenolic compounds with demonstrated anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Green tea provides a rich source of catechins, particularly epigallocatechin gallate EGCG, which laboratory studies suggest may inhibit tumor formation through multiple mechanisms. Similarly, the resveratrol found in grape skins and red wine has exhibited promising anticancer properties in preliminary research, though moderation remains essential with alcoholic beverages due to their association with certain cancer types. The power of colorful fruits and vegetables. Nature color codes many of its most protective foods. The vibrant hues of fruits and vegetables often indicate the presence of specific phytochemicals with potential cancer-fighting properties. Carotenoidric orange and red produce like carrots, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, and red bell peppers contain compounds that research suggests may help reduce cancer risk, particularly for lung, prostate, and digestive system cancers. I recommend considering your plate as a canvas for creating a color portfolio at each meal, advises Dr. Aim for at least 3 different colors of fruits and vegetables daily, eventually working toward 5 or more. This approach naturally ensures you're receiving a diverse spectrum of protective compounds. Green leafy vegetables deserve special mention for their exceptional nutrient density. Spinach, kale, collard greens, and their relatives contain lutein, zeaxanthin, folate, and numerous other compounds associated with reduced cancer risk. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts provide sulforaphane and indolylcarbonyl, compounds shown to inhibit cancer development in laboratory models through multiple mechanisms. Citrus fruits, berries, and other vitamin-rich foods support immune function while providing additional antioxidant protection through their high flavonoid content. Preserving nutritional potency. Optimal food preparation. Methods we use to prepare nutrient-rich foods significantly impact their cancer protective potential. Many water-soluble vitamins and delicate phytochemicals can degrade during high-heat cooking or leach into cooking water. The nutritional difference between raw and heavily cooked vegetables can be substantial. Some studies indicate up to 50% reduction in certain antioxidant compounds after prolonged cooking. Whenever palatable and food safe, consuming produce in its raw state maximizes nutritional benefits. Dr. Bennett recommends fresh fruits, salads, and raw vegetable snacks preserve heat-sensitive compounds that might otherwise be diminished. For vegetables that require cooking for palatability or digestibility, gentler methods like steaming, quick sautéing, or blanching help preserve nutrients while making the foods more appealing. Many phytochemicals actually become more bioavailable with light cooking, striking an optimal balance between nutrient preservation and enhanced absorption. An innovative approach gaining popularity involves incorporating fresh juices from vegetables and fruits. Using a slow-speed juicer helps preserve heat-sensitive compounds while making it convenient to consume larger quantities of produce. Dr. Bennett suggests, for those struggling to consume adequate vegetables through regular meals, adding a daily vegetable juice can significantly increase your intake of protective compounds without requiring major dietary overhauls. Hydration. The overlooked foundation of cellular health. Water constitutes approximately 70% of our body mass and serves as the medium for virtually all biochemical reactions within our cells. Adequate hydration plays a fundamental role in cancer prevention through multiple mechanisms. It facilitates efficient removal of waste products and potential carcinogens, supports optimal immune function, and maintains the integrity of cellular processes that help prevent malignant transformations. The simplest recommendation I offer patients is never to wait until thirst appears, emphasizes Dr. Bennett. Thirst signifies that cellular dehydration is already occurring. By that point, your body's biochemical processes may already be functioning suboptimally. The ideal approach involves consistent fluid intake throughout the day, approximately 23 liters daily for most adults, with adjustments for activity level, climate, and individual factors. Keeping water easily accessible at all times and developing a habit of regular sipping creates an environment where cells remain properly hydrated without requiring conscious effort. It's crucial to emphasize that this recommendation specifically refers to purified water. Sugary beverages not only fail to provide the same benefits but may actually increase cancer risk through mechanisms related to insulin resistance, inflammation, and excess calorie intake. Mental well-being. The mind-body connection in cancer prevention. Perhaps the most frequently overlooked aspect of cancer prevention involves our psychological state and stress management strategies. Substantial evidence supports the profound influence of chronic stress on physical health, including cancer development and progression. When examining case histories, we often discover dramatic life stressors preceding cancer diagnosis, the loss of a spouse, a traumatic family event, or prolonged periods of emotional distress. Dr. Bennett explains, the physiological mechanisms connecting stress and cancer development are increasingly well understood. Chronic stress triggers prolonged elevation of stress hormones like cortisol, which can suppress immune function and create an inflammatory environment conducive to cellular damage. This creates a biological environment where abnormal cells may escape detection and elimination. The psychological impact of a cancer diagnosis itself often accelerates disease progression through these same pathways. Studies document cases where patients experience rapid decline following diagnosis, partly attributable to the psychological burden rather than disease progression alone. Conversely, individuals who maintain psychological resilience often demonstrate better treatment outcomes and quality of life regardless of disease stage. Practical approaches to Moldy wellness incorporating stress reduction practices represents a crucial component of comprehensive cancer prevention. Meditation stands among the most well-researched interventions, with studies demonstrating its effectiveness in reducing stress hormones, improving immune function, and even influencing gene expression patterns related to inflammation and cancer pathways. Even brief daily meditation practices can yield meaningful benefits, notes Dr. Bennett. Starting with just 510 minutes daily and gradually extending the duration can establish a foundation for stress resilience that complements nutritional approaches to cancer prevention. Spiritual practices, regardless of specific religious tradition, offer additional psychological protection by fostering a sense of meaning, connection, and perspective during difficult circumstances. Research consistently shows that individuals with active spiritual lives demonstrate greater resilience to stress and, in some studies, better health outcomes when facing serious illness. Other effective mind-body practices include guided imagery, progressive muscle relaxation, gentle yoga, and Tai Chi, all of which have demonstrated stress reduction benefits in research settings. The key lies not in which specific practice you choose, but in establishing consistent engagement with approaches that resonate personally. Implementing a cancer preventive lifestyle, practical steps. Creating sustainable dietary and lifestyle changes requires a thoughtful, incremental approach rather than dramatic overhauls. Dr. Bennett recommends beginning with straightforward adjustments that yield significant benefits without overwhelming motivation. Gradually increase plant foods. Add 1 additional serving of vegetables or fruits daily until reaching 79 servings. Focus on diversity of color and type rather than quantity of any single item. 2. Practice meat moderation. Designate several meals weekly as vegetarian, and when including red meat, keep portions to approximately 34 ounces while emphasizing quality over quantity. 3. Upgrade cooking methods. Invest in equipment that facilitates healthier preparation. Steamers, slow cookers, and high-quality nonstick pans reduce the need for excessive heat or added fats. 4. Establish hydration habits. Place water bottles strategically throughout your environment and set regular reminders to drink throughout the day until consistent hydration becomes automatic. Create stress reduction rituals. Identify specific times daily for brief mindfulness practices, gradually extending duration as the habit becomes established. These modest modifications, when consistently maintained, create a foundation for more comprehensive changes as they become integrated into your lifestyle. Conclusion: a holistic approach to cancer prevention, the path to reducing cancer risk through nutrition and lifestyle, involves neither complex protocols nor expensive supplements, but rather a return to fundamental principles of balanced living. By mindfully reducing exposure to potentially harmful substances while increasing protective elements, you create an internal environment less hospitable to cancer development. Dr. Bennett emphasizes that these approaches complement, rather than replace, appropriate medical screening and prompt attention to concerning symptoms. The greatest protection comes from combining preventive nutrition with appropriate medical vigilance. She notes, these strategies work synergistically rather than in isolation. Remember that cancer prevention exists on a spectrum rather than as an absolute guarantee. By implementing these evidence-based recommendations, you shift your position on that spectrum toward reduced risk while simultaneously enhancing overall well-being, energy levels, and quality of life. Begin by selecting 1 or 2 areas that seem most achievable, establishing those changes as consistent habits before expanding further. This gradual approach builds a sustainable foundation for lifelong cancer prevention that enhances your daily experience rather than merely avoiding disease.